What's going on, everybody? It's Tuesday, and it's 6 o'clock here in Orlando, Florida. Thanks so much for joining me. And if you're watching the replay, thanks for checking in with us as well. As always, we like to start off our show talking about where are people from. I love to get to know you guys even more, figure out where you guys are watching from, where at in the planet you're getting to know Orlando real estate, theme parks, life in Orlando, all that good stuff. And first off, as well, as I'm talking this out, how's this sound? Can someone let me know down below how the audio is? Because I got Mike dialed in. I think it's a little bit better, but good to see you guys already. We've got Kevin checking in from South Lake, Texas. Good to see you. Ben says he's from Jersey, but dreaming of Ovation. Ben, I've got something for you tonight. I'm excited to share about Ovation. That's good. Frank says, what's up? Howdy from Jacksonville, Florida. Look forward to the episode. I appreciate you being here. Let's see. Shay from Samish, Washington. Good to see you as well. Sharon says it sounds very good. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Cool. What's up, DCOS from Jersey Shore? Good to see you guys checking in a little bit along the way. So I've got a bunch of stuff to talk about tonight. But first thing I want to talk about is actually some questions that you guys asked over on my YouTube community page. I put on there, hey, if you guys are not going to be able to make it, drop some comments below and figure out kind of if I can answer some of these questions along the way. So we're going to talk about these first. And the number one question that I'm kind of curious of is SeaWorld versus Animal Kingdom and why. I feel like I've actually, believe it or not, never been to SeaWorld, so I'm not really sure. I've been to like the shopping area. There's like some food areas that we went to for like different conferences, but I've never like been there to hang out. My family all has gone, and I have not. And so I need to know SeaWorld versus Animal Kingdom and why. The Sports Fellowship asked about this one. And so they're going with his wife over the weekend. And so let's see. What's going on, Susanna? Good to see you this evening. Crimson does stuff. Hello, Mr. Pozick, watching from Maryland. My mom watches you every time. She even waited for your stream to start. Well, thank you. I appreciate that very, very much. Javier, what's going on for Simi? Good to see you. Which do you like better, reunion or celebration? That's a really great question. We're going to dive into some reunion talk later today. But SeaWorld versus Animal Kingdom and why? That's the question of the night. And let's get into a few other things here. All right. So have you guys gone through let's see, why isn't this not going? There we go. Have you guys seen the new terminal that's going on over in Terminal C over at the airport? And why is this important? For one, they spent $2.8 billion on the new airport, and it's going to be opening up next week or in 2 weeks. One of the things I thought was hilarious is, for one, it looks amazing, but did you see this? They actually kept the same carpet from the old ones. Everybody always talks about why don't they finally update the carpet from the old terminal? And it looks like they're just going to keep it going in the new terminal. I don't know. I like it. It kind of reminds me that I'm home. I'm here in Orlando, and I kind of love it. But this thing looks pretty remarkable in regards to what it's going to be. I hope that they start spending some money on the old terminals now. But I know JetBlue and some other places are going to be here. There's going to be some international flights coming out of this area. I think it looks quite amazing. It wouldn't be Orlando without a Walt Disney World store and a Universal store and a SeaWorld store. So I think it's going to be really nice. Hopefully, if you're flying into the area, you get to see this later this month. I think it's pretty cool. All right, let's see. Back over here. You gotta check in. Oh, here we go. SeaWorld because of the coasters. Well, Animal Kingdom has a coaster or two, but I get it for sure. Is Island Village sold out or nearly there? The first phase is actually, I sold a house there today. I think there's 9 houses left. And then I found this out. They're going to be building estate size houses. There's like 30 lots that they're getting ready to release. And then after those are sold out, of which they say there's like a waiting list of 300 people for like the 30 lots. After those are sold out, they're going to shut down their model home for 2 years while they get the next bridge for phase 3 or 2 and 3 together over there, which is kind of wild. Johnny says SeaWorld's much cheaper for the annual membership, so that's a plus. That's true. Nemo living the dream. Hello from Virginia. Good to see you. Chris, what's going on, man? I have a coffee around here somewhere. I promise. It's never far from me. What's up, David from Reunion Resort? Let's talk about Reunion Resort next, actually. I want to talk about, gosh, got so many things up here. All right. So there is a new development going on at Reunion Resort. David, maybe you know this already. So Reunion Resort timeshare rental accommodations, they're getting ready to build an 85 or 75 to $85 million project going on. It says construction possible within 5 years. So they're kind of in the pre-development process. And when I pulled up where this was in Reunion, they basically just have it up at the north end. So maybe all this land back here. When I start going through what that actually would entail, there's 1,200 new timeshare rental accommodations, apartments, and condominiums. So I hope that they personally, obviously, would do more condominiums than timeshare, because this is the neighborhood, right? The Reunion. It's mostly condos, townhomes, but a lot of very nice homes. And to add it and kind of change to the neighborhood, making it feel a bit more like timeshare, I don't know that that would do super well in that area. Now, do I think they'd be rented out? Yeah, I think they would probably do just fine. But I think that selling condos there would actually do even better. And if you own a house there, you probably want to see more things for sale than just more rentals. I don't know. Let me know what you think if you own there or if you visited there. Somebody asked me, what do I like more, Celebration or Reunion? It just depends. Like if you're looking for investment, I think Celebration, you can only do long-term rental there. And so if you want to use it a month out of the year or 2 or 3 or 4 months out of the year, you're probably going to choose Reunion because you want to offset some of that cost with short-term rentals. A lot of people do anyways. Whereas Celebration's kind of like that long-term, you're hunkering down, you're just trying to have more of a sense of community and not really like a resorty sort of style, if that makes sense. Even though they've got, 12 pools and a ton of really, really cool amenities in Celebration, you can't rent it out by the night, by the week. And so it just depends on like what's your end unit or your end desire for that property. And that's going to have help make your decision on what you like better, Reunion or Celebration. Shout out to Susanna if she's still watching. I think she's hanging out. She helped you in your search. I'm so glad to hear that. Susanna's amazing. Martin, what's up from New York, but you live in Florida? I appreciate you checking in. All right, what else do we got? So yeah, I think, the whole timeshare thing, I think Westgate timeshares instead of DVC is technically a timeshare, but to me, there's a little bit of a community there. Reselling those points become a lot easier. There's a little bit more value there, and they keep their properties up to a super high standard. Whereas Westgate is not to that level, if you will. So the whole Reunion Resort thing, I don't know. Hopefully they do it right. We'll see kind of going over there. Nicholas says, I heard a big debate over upgrading Camping World Stadium, or they won't be landing big events going forward. I think so. I think you're right. Here's something interesting, Nicholas. Let me show you guys this. I think this is a really interesting thing in that area in general. So Growth Spotter has an article, new development partner will dictate timing on Orlando sports and Orlando Magic Sports and Entertainment District. So this entertainment district that has been in the talks for a really long time. Here's kind of another view of what that's going to look like from downtownorlando.com. It's kind of this sports and entertainment venue. They've got, They've got $200 million investment to start, 300 residential units, 100,000 retail, and then 200,000 square feet of office space. And I think this is really going to redevelop that whole area. And I think that Camping World, here's where it is, like Amway's right here. And then this is the new district over here. And then you've got under I-4, which is another project. But yeah, I think Camping World needs a little bit of love. They did a bunch of work to it not too long ago, but I have to believe that being in Orlando is only going to go so far. Like they have to have it be an amazing sports venue as well. And then that whole area getting connected will be even better. But check this out, Nicholas. So you've got Camping World way down the street here. And then this district, I feel like as they continue to redevelop this whole area, will draw a lot of people. And so one of the things I was looking at was what other areas in the country has this been done in? And so in Atlanta, they did this around the Braves Stadium. And then down in Tampa around the Lightning Stadium, this is what that looks like right here. So all around the Lightning District, they've got Water Street. And so this is kind of what they're trying to bring to the Orlando area. And I think that if they do it right, I mean, they've got, they had condos and high-end restaurants and retail and just a whole bunch of cool stuff around the stadium. And if done right, if this kind of vibe is what they're trying to bring to Orlando, if it's done right, I think could really revitalize that whole area and bring a lot more life to downtown Orlando, which is something that I think that we need. All right, let's get back to some questions from y'all. Yeah, Eli says, did I see the story about New Yorkers moving back north from Miami? I think Real Brokerage published it. Have you noticed this trend in Orlando? We haven't seen a lot of people leaving Orlando that had moved here. What we do see a lot of people is fleeing Miami to come to Orlando, just for like price reasons. That becomes a major thing for people. They get priced out of the area. And so if people are moving back to New York, maybe that makes Miami a little bit more affordable. But no, we have not seen a ton of people leaving the Orlando area anyways to go back up north. What's up, Dave, from your K-Hoff pool? Good to see you. Sharon says, audio production student at Full Sail, first-time buyer looking to relocate to Orlando by March. Moving with my house choice voucher. Any advice on moving to using my voucher? It's a very, very specific kind of program. So make sure you reach out. We do have some lenders and sort of like in-house folks that can help you with that. But a little bit more niche. Dave says, we're getting a TStorm here at Four Seasons Orlando. One of my favorite places in all of Orlando, the Four Seasons. Eric, no, we are going to Hollywood Horror Nights on Saturday. So if you're there and you see a 37-year-old man screaming, that's me. It's my first time. I'm excited. I don't know. So if you have comments, if you've been to Hollywood Horror Nights and you think you know something that I should know, make sure you let me know down below. What are some things that I have to do? Maybe some things that I should stay away from. Please let me know. So let's talk about the Artemis. So if you guys have seen this, they tried to launch it twice. Apparently they had some issues with the fuel capsule, and so it was leaking. And so it was supposed to take off last week, and then it was supposed to take off Saturday. And now they've pushed it out like an entire month, which is kind of a bummer. But one of the things I wanted to point out as I was going through some of the research for tonight's show was that there's a lot of cool things that you can do over on the coast. If you haven't been to the Kennedy Space Center, they're reducing prices for people that live in Orange, Volusia, Seminole, and Osceola counties to kind of trying to bring people over there. And Johnny, talk about something that's like a really cheap thing to do to take your family to. It's $19 for adults, $14 for kids, and you really get to see a ton of history out there as well. It's one of the most fun things I've taken my kids to. Outside of like Disney and Universal. We really enjoyed it. But that being said, there are, let me see, I found this the other day. Let's see. Let me take it off full screen here. The amount of things going in over at Cocoa Beach is kind of insane. There was something like $180 million in development that I saw over on the coast from the new like Weston that's going in over there. That's like going to be a $500 million district. But then all of the other things going on. It's interesting to see like the Artemis and the NASA programs and SpaceX and Blue Origin and all of the jobs that are coming from like the defense industry over there in Orlando and beyond. It's redeveloping that whole Cocoa area. And so if you're not spending some time over there, enjoying the beaches, enjoying some of the stuff that's happening, check out Kennedy Space Center at Cape Canaveral. It's cool. It's a cool afternoon, cool weekend for sure. Let's see. Kevin, let's talk about that right now, actually. I think it's a good time to interject. So is buying of new homes slowing at all? Yeah, I mean, so buyers are looking for certainty more than ever. And so they're really pushing over into resale a lot more. New construction is still great options, especially in a niche product. Like somebody mentioned Island Village. There's only so many new homes in Celebration. There's actually only like 9 left or something like that. If you're trying to get in, this year or early next. But in areas that have a ton of new construction, there's a bit more options with like design center incentives and lot premiums and all those kind of things. But let's look at like what's going on with the overall market. This is something that I do for those of you OGs that have watched our show before. This is what's going on in the 5-county area in Central Florida. So that's like Orange County, Osceola, Polk Lake, and Seminole counties. We've had 946 new listings pop up, which is actually, it's been staying under 1,000 now for the past, month. It's been pretty consistently dropping in terms of new listings. And then pendings are still outpacing new listings, which that's a good thing. Like the more we see of that, the longer that trend happens, the more stable our market overall becomes. And if you look at sold here in the same period, there's 1157 that have sold and then 946. The big thing that we always talk about is, well, at least always, the past 2 months we've been talking about is that the price decreases are still very strong, meaning that sellers are saying, hey, listen, we tried here. That was too high. Let's kind of come in to see where the value might hit for a buyer. And then these things are going pending. So the big flip is like, if this goes to where new listings are all of a sudden, 1,400 and then pendings are only 1,000 down here, that becomes a problem. That means we're in some dire situations. And so that's when the market starts pulling back and we have more issues. Now, it'll be interesting. New construction, they're offering more incentives. Resale, they're offering more certainty because you know exactly what your price is going to be. You know exactly what your interest rate is going to be. You know when your closing date's going to be. There's just more certainty. And when we're in uncertain times like we are right now, buyers are flocking towards certainty. So also a lot of people still renting. Like we're talking to a lot of buyers and they're like, we know our rent's going through the roof, but we're just going to hold off for one more year and see what happens. I don't know. We'll see. Time will tell if that's a good idea or not. Eric says, I recommend the Hollywood Horror Nights house called Dead Man's Pier. It's my favorite. Why is it your favorite? I need to know. I need to know. Florida man, what's going on? You're my people. Let's see. Ovation. That's not Ovation. Sorry, let me switch over here. So from what I'm hearing, West Haven at Ovation, that's Toll Brothers. I actually talked to their sales manager a week ago, and he told me that they should be good for sales in like November, December of this year. And everybody who had already been promised homes and signed on homes, they're going to be starting construction a little bit more aggressively so that they're moving into their homes next year. But it's most likely that if you sign a contract in November and December, you're not going to be moving in until early 24, if not like just super late 23. And Toll Brothers, because of their quality and everything, they're typically like a 10 to 12 month build anyways. So yeah, that's kind of what's going on with Ovation. But let me show you a couple other things. West Haven. Here we go. Somebody else asked about Ovation in general. So Ovation, just like a section of Horizon West. So if you're familiar with where Horizon West is, it's basically South Winter Garden. Mailing address 34787 is the zip code. That's kind of like the last little frontier of Horizon West is kind of the Ovation area. So right along Avalon Road, if you know where that's at. And I slow down to talk about this because a lot of you guys found my channel because of how much Winter Garden content that I've put out. So if this isn't you, just stick with me. We've got some other stories to talk about. But anyways, Ovation at Encore's Phase 4 single family houses. This is MI Homes, and they put this out. The project was 9/2, so that was just a few days ago, 4 days ago. They're putting together their townhouses and a bunch of other properties, 56 buildings, 2 stories below grade. It looks like they're trying to push forward on this fairly quickly. And if you've ever driven up and down Avalon, the Lake Star Road is finally open, and you can kind of drive back into some of the new neighborhoods that will be MI Homes and Ashton Woods and some other areas back there. It's coming along really quick. And so that being said, I think we're finally catching up pace with new construction. They're able to keep up with current demand, which is obviously less than it was a month or 2 ago. But I think that this is all good stuff, in my opinion. I hated the idea that we were going up 1% a month or 2% a month. I'm much more happy with the stable market. I think it's just healthier for everybody. Let's see. Hey, howdy, hey. You know what I wish that they would talk about at the D23 is the Play Pavilion. Like, I want to know a little bit more what's going on in Epcot. I know the whole like movement of water, that's like another 2 years away apparently or something like that. But I hope that they talk a little bit more about like in-park kind of stuff. We'll see. What website do I use to see upcoming commercial construction? I use, it's called Dodge Construction. It's not cheap. It's actually really expensive. And it pulls all of the permitting. And so that's kind of some of the screenshots that I showed you guys. But I'm kind of, because I don't like to wait until like it hits the news. I want to find out before it hits the news. And there's not going to be any news on like some of this niche new construction neighborhoods that we talk about here. All right. So going back to some questions, Star Platinum asked, can I explain the process of an investor who buys new build, then sells it for a profit, but never moves into the property? So there's two things to know about this. One, you have some builders do not allow investors on their new lot releases. So you have to ask that up front. Hey, do you guys work with investors? Some builders are very investor friendly. Other ones don't want it. They don't want people flipping. They don't want competition. They don't want you to buy the place and then, you list it and then they're trying to sell, right? So that's one thing, asking the builders if they can or not. The next thing would be your tax implications. Yeah, exactly. What tax implications are there in terms of your capital gains? And so if you're going to flip it the moment after you buy it, then you're going to typically have whatever your tax rate is. It's ordinary income on real estate. And then if you hold it for 1 year, that's why a lot of investors will buy new construction, rent it out for a year, and then sell it. Your capital gains drops. And so talk to your tax accountant. I'm not a tax accountant, but that's what I see in the market and know to be true as an investor myself. Diz Deb says, what are my feelings about Meritage Homes in general? I think they're a great like mid-tier builder. You've got some builders that are a little better than them, a lot of them that are worse though. And I think that overall they build a good product. I've not had any warranty issues with them to where they're denying claims all the time, which that's one of my number one things that I tell buyers to look out for, working with a builder that's actually going to stand behind their product. I think that's really important. So yeah. Hey, Ken, where do I see Poinciana in a few years? There's a lot of talk about down that way becoming a city. Yeah, I mean, Poinciana is already a city. I think Haines City, Poinciana, Davenport, all of that area, because there's so much land and since it's so inexpensive in general still, compared to the rest of Orlando, I think there's a lot of opportunity there. But you're waiting for a lot of this to come, right? Like when I first moved to Horizon West, there were no strip malls, there were no places to eat, there were barely any schools, and now it's so many people live here and there's new stuff popping up and there's schools and redistricting and all that kind of stuff. So like if you understand that you're moving a little early in order to take advantage of what's to come, that's cool. But if you're looking for like established overnight, it's just probably not going to happen. Hey, Michelle from Boca. Good to see you. If you guys need a good agent down in Boca, I've got a friend. Her name's Michelle. All right, here we go. Back to Eric. Dead Man's Pier got some beautiful set design and music. The scares are really creative and story is compelling. It's a haunted fishing village, but I won't spoil it too much. Ooh, I'm excited. I actually saw the photos of this on Twitter. And I was shocked. Like somebody tweeted out, it was Rob, I forget his name. He tweets about theme parks, and he said, "What's amazing about Hollywood Horror Nights is that there's no like pre-show, there's no like build. Like you literally have to like walk in, they tell the story, they scare you all within 150 seconds." And that kind of stuck with me. I'm like that. The level of appreciation before I even got there just went through the roof just because of that. Like they have to be able to draw you in, get you invested, understand the story, have it be really good and creative set design and scare you and make you want to come back, like all within 3 or 4 minutes. To me, that's kind of cool. Are there any new shops and restaurants scheduled to open at Flamingo Crossing? I don't know how much more beyond what you've already seen, I guess, is what I meant. Give me a hot second and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Nope. All right, so here's what they're supposed to be so far. Well, there already is. Target, Walgreens, Five Below, Permission Hollow Brewery, Nick-fil-A, which Nick-fil-A flopped over in Dr. Phillips. So I'm curious if they're going to still move forward here. Ben & Jerry's is already open. PDQ, I think, is already open. Five Guys is definitely open. Firehouse is open. Starbucks is open. Domino's is open. UPS store is open. But there's a whole lot more. There's like some street food place coming. There's a Japanese barbecue, which I'm actually excited about that. Lime Fresh Mexican Grill. There's a bunch of stuff. I think there's 20-ish different stores there, as well as an ER, like a Advent Health, like little ER popping up over there. You got to remember, most of the stuff at Flamingo Crossing is going to be like college kid friendly because of so much going on around there. That's where Disney's cast member housing is. And so you're going to have a lot of people that, that kind of stuff that like, they're going to want to be walkable. It makes sense to me. How does MI compare to Toll Brothers and Ashton Woods? So I think, in my opinion, it would be like Toll Brothers, Ashton Woods, and MI. Maybe Ashton, depends on the neighborhood. Ashton Woods might edge them out just a little bit. But MI is pretty darn close to an Ashton Woods. And I still personally believe Toll builds the best production home, which actually brings me back around to another question that was asked pre-show. So Capstone asked, I'm not interested in nationwide builders. D.R. Horton, Pulte. Are there any local builders with good reputations for solid building homes and excellent customer service, or is that a pipe dream? I realize Toll Brothers is national and high quality, but they will likely be out of my price range. The problem is, Capstone, is that the production builders are what give you the value, like the lower value, if you will, if that's a thing. The custom builders here in Orlando are all pretty well going to be pricey. They're going to, in term, being custom means that they're going to be a little bit more pricey. Now, there are some local builders like Domain Homes. They do a lot of infill. So downtown Orlando, you got a lot of stuff, College Park, Winter Park, Colonial Town, Delaney Park. Like, they've got a bunch of teardowns here, and they're smaller, regional. They've got good customer service, but their quality is probably like an MI Homes. And so it really just depends on what you're looking for. If you're looking for like really high-end finishes, you're going to pay really high-end prices. If you're just looking for like a local regional builder because you want to support somebody or you want to know who your builder is going to be, there are some of those around, just not as prevalent as the big guys. Charlie, 2 years away still? You mean phase 2 of Island Village, I guess is what you probably mean. Let's see. What about Meritage? Are they good quality builder? Yeah, I think I mentioned that earlier. I think Meritage and MI are like a very, very similar build. What else? I had a few other things. Oh, another thing I talked about in the opener. So it's bow time. Bojangle opens first of 15 upcoming locations in Central Florida. I don't know what this is. So this is chicken and biscuits here. I'm trying to figure out why this is a big deal. If you guys could let me know down below, like why you think this is a big deal. It's supposed to be Southern chicken, fried biscuits, sweet tea, and that kind of thing. And apparently there's a really big following. But like if you go over to Orange Ave or Orlando Ave, like in Winter Park, there is Chicken Guy, Chick-fil-A, PDQ. There's like 6 different chicken joints, and I just don't know how many more we need. That's just me. I feel like maybe, and please tell me if I'm wrong, because I feel like I love some chicken. I love some fried chicken, but how many more do we need? That's all. I feel like we've got enough. Chicken Fire. Oh, yeah. Chase on our team is a big Chicken Fire guy. I need to try that still. Let's see. What do I think about the new rental buildings, more than 15 that are being built on Narcoossee? You think traffic is going to be pretty insane? Yeah, I do, Lando. I think that whole area up and down Narcoossee is already a bit insane, but with the Osceola extension coming through, I think that that's going to alleviate quite a bit over that. You've got a lot of stuff that are just going to take people back out to the freeways a little bit easier. It is going to cut through some of the neighborhoods, and some of the people even mentioned it earlier, like Summerdale and some of the other places around there. But I think they're thinking about it properly, and it probably should have happened 3-4 years ago that they built these roads, but they're coming. And so I think that area in the next 2 to 3 years won't feel as bad and won't feel as congested as it is currently. Art Smith, is that over at Disney Springs? Is that Chef Art Smith? He's got some serious fried chicken. I mean, that's like legit though, for sure. Everbee Updates. So Everbee is a massive neighborhood over by the airports. For those of you who don't know, not really. They're moving dirt like crazy. They've got like a bunch of new roads going in, and you see people putting in infrastructure, but they've got no like plans, no real like designs. It's just sort of like a thought at this point of like, here's kind of what we hope is coming. Just nothing yet, quite a bit. Oh, here's a good one. What do I think is better, a 55 and older community, K-Hub, Four Seasons, or Del Webb Oasis? I think really that's going to come down to location. I feel like, one's in Winter Garden, one's in Kissimmee. So if you have a preference between Orange and Osceola County based on taxes, based on any of that, like if you're going to get summoned to jury duty, downtown Orlando or downtown Kissimmee, they're pretty equidistant to Disney overall. I think if I had to give a slight edge based on amenities, I probably would say Del Webb Oasis. But I think they're very similar in regards to like quality and that sort of thing. Dave says K-Hov. Yeah, I mean, they were kind of like the original over in the area. And honestly, Del Webb's put sales on hold. You can actually go get a good deal over at K-Hov right now. So if you're looking at trying to get something a little bit quicker, yeah. Let's see. Dave says, we're actually Celebration, your post office Celebration at K-Hov. Really? That's like over off of 417? That's interesting. But it's not Celebration mailing. Everything that I get from them says Kissimmee. But we used to live in Celebration, and it says that we are a Kissimmee address. But all right, it is 6:30. We're wrapping up the day. I hope you guys were able to learn something a little bit today. And if you haven't subscribed and you got 30 minutes into a video, make sure you hit the subscribe button. If you're watching live, 137 of you, hit the thumbs up like button. It'll help get pushed out. That means a lot to me. And if you have questions or other comments for next week's video, feel free to drop the comments below. I'll make sure I answer those live next time here in Orlando. I hope you guys have an amazing rest of the week. Talk soon.